Alrighty, so today we're going to talk about Pinterest marketing for TpT sellers. My goal is to help you have a better understanding of Pinterest and how it works. I want to give you actionable steps. So if you're not on Pinterest, I want to teach you a little bit about how to set up your Pinterest. If you're already on Pinterest, you can use a lot of these strategies to improve your Pinterest account and your Pinterest profile. And then I want to give you a simple workflow to help you be consistent in Pinterest marketing. The biggest thing that I see with my clients or with people that I work with is that they find Pinterest overwhelming. They tried it and they're like, I tried it for 2 weeks and then it just wasn't for me, or I just can't seem to get in a flow of Pinterest. And so I want to help you to have a system so that Pinterest isn't overwhelming. We talked about this a little bit, but I'm Jessie. I'm a former teacher and I'm actually a homeschool mom now. I have a sixth grader, a third grader, and a pre-K student. So I homeschool them. And then I also run a Pinterest management business. I love Pinterest. I feel like it is a great platform for pay teacher sellers to increase their visibility. A lot of times what I hear is, I don't know how to get in front of more people. And Pinterest is great for that because you're able to get in front of new audiences. All right, why Pinterest? Pinterest is a visual search engine. People are coming to Pinterest and they're able to see your ideas, and that is so great for TpT sellers. It's one thing to be able to talk about your resources and to search them on Google and see words, but when we can see those pictures in front of our face, it draws us in and it makes us want to know more about your products. And then people come to Pinterest because they're wanting inspiration, they're planning something, they are getting ready for back to school. They want to try something new. So they might be looking for classroom management strategies that actually work in their classroom. And they're in this like search and discovery mode, which is really important when it comes to marketing. They have a problem in their mind and they want somebody on Pinterest to solve it. And they don't care if it's you or a big name business or it doesn't matter. I think that's a big thing about Pinterest is it doesn't matter if it's a small seller or a big seller. They have a problem that they want solved. And if you have the solution to it and you present it in a way that they can find it, then you're going to get leads from Pinterest. When you're done with this, this is what I want you guys to get at this. I want you to be able to leave this training. And if you don't have your account set up, I want you to be able to set it up. I want you to be able to determine your goals for Pinterest because everyone's goals can be different. I want you to know how to do keyword research because that's a foundational part of your Pinterest strategy. I want you to know how to optimize your profile, create boards, create pins, and then also know analytics behind what you're doing. And that is kind of encompassing all of Pinterest management. Obviously, there's going to be some things that can't fit into a short presentation, but this is my goal for you guys today. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to set up your business account. I'm going to move. If you are using a personal account, you need to set up a business account first. You're not going to get all the analytics and things if you don't set up your account. You're going to claim your website. So you can go when you log into Pinterest over in the settings, you can claim your website. You can also claim your Instagram. And then if you have Shopify or WooCommerce, you can connect your store. If you use other platforms, there are methods to get other platforms on there. They're just a little bit trickier. So Shopify and WooCommerce, it's a couple of different things and it's pretty quick, but the other ones just take a little more work. If you connect your Instagram, because there's been a lot of changes with Pinterest and Instagram, you're gonna see on there something on there that asks you if you want to auto-publish to Pinterest. Do not do that. It's chaos, it's craziness. Your Instagram content is not designed for Pinterest. And so if you're auto-publishing everything from Instagram, every carousel you put up, every graphic, every reel goes over to Pinterest. And not only is Pinterest just not designed to have like carousels and things, one, those carousels turn into individual pins for every single slide that you have, depending on your settings. And then also, your reels aren't optimized for Pinterest. If you're going to use them on Pinterest, I'm going to teach you a way to do that. But if you just auto-publish them, it's not going to be the same. One of the things with that too, we don't really use hashtags on Pinterest. They do exist, but it's a better use to use your keywords instead. So, long story short, that's a lot of reasons why if you're going to connect them, make sure you turn off that auto publish. I think it's good to publish or to connect them. I've had a client recently who had somebody who, or not someone, a lot of her pin or her reels on Instagram were getting pinned to Pinterest, but people couldn't figure out where it was coming from. So it was just her stuff, but it wasn't ever connected to her. So for her, it was really important to have her Instagram connected because then they could get back to her and she got credit and impressions and all of that from her Instagram content, if that makes sense. So I encourage you to connect it, but don't auto publish it, please. And then again, you can connect your Shopify store or your WooCommerce super easy with Pinterest. All right, let's talk about goals. I know as TPT sellers, you want more sales. That's the goal. But how you get sales in your business looks different for different businesses. If you have a really strong email funnel, you may find that you're getting a lot of your clients and or not your clients, your customers and your leads from email marketing. And so you may want to use Pinterest to draw people into your email list, and then you can use that to nurture them and sell to. If you have a website and your blog and a blog and you're highlighting your products, you can use Pinterest to go straight to your blog, and then people, one, they get to know you a little bit more. They get to learn more about your products through that, and then they get to see what you have to offer. Or you can also send traffic straight to your TPT store. I personally prefer to mainly focus on the top two, and I know that sometimes that's hard if you don't have a website or you don't have a strong email list yet. But sending traffic straight to TPT as your main thing on Pinterest, in my opinion, is not the best thing just because your it's kind of like sending it to Instagram. Once they get to TPT, they're going to see your stuff and they may buy it, but they may also look at everything else on TPT, and now they've gone down a rabbit hole of all these things. So I always prefer to send people to your space. So your email list, your website. Does that mean you cannot be successful on Pinterest if you only have a TPT store? Absolutely not. But you just need to understand the expectations and the reality of sending someone to TPT versus your own space. So once you've kind of figured out, okay, what do I want to do with Pinterest? What are my goals? Which of these am I wanting to focus on? Do I want to use a combination? Then we can move on to actually setting up your Pinterest. The first thing that you need to do before you publish a pin, before you do anything else, is do keyword research. And when you're doing this, you want to ask yourself, like, what do you want your business to be known for, or what are you already known for? Are you a kindergarten teacher? Are you a sixth grade math teacher? What are common themes that you create products, blog posts, all of those things around? That's going to drive the start of your keyword research. So if I'm a first grade teacher, I'm going to go to the Pinterest search bar. Just in Pinterest, it's the easiest way to do keyword research. And I'm going to start typing in keywords that are about my products and my area of expertise. So you can see here, if I type in first grade, you get all of these things, and all of these things as you go, kind of, I call it a rabbit hole. Like you're going to get down this rabbit hole of more specific keywords. So I started with first grade math. And then from there, I got first grade math, I started with first grade and then went to first grade math. And from there, you can see worksheets, games, centers, activities. So you're going to start kind of going through that. And I have a keyword bank for my clients, and you will create what's called a keyword bank for your business. And you're going to start recording all of these things that people are searching for on Pinterest. If you're a first grade math teacher, people are searching for these things. And so that's going to go into your keyword bank so that when you use those keywords, you know what people are searching for. A lot of the foundations of Pinterest comes down to keywords. And so if you're not using the right keywords, people aren't going to find you. And if they can't find you, on Pinterest, then they're not going to leave Pinterest and go to your website. So it all kind of starts here. And then, oops, sorry, I skipped. Once you have your keywords, you're going to use them basically everywhere on Pinterest. You're going to start with your profile name. So instead of just your store name, you can see up here, I have mine, and then I have a slash, and then I have digital marketing for TpT sellers. It's up here in this little area. So you want your store or your name, and then you also want 1 to 2 keywords that go with what you have. So first grade teacher, first grade resources, if we're still using a first grade example. You're going to use it in your profile description, your board names, and I'll show you all of this in a second. Your board descriptions, your pin titles, your pin descriptions, and the text overlay on your pin. So you can see when we have first grade math, these pins that pop up have first grade math, a lot of them in the title, or they have them down in the text here as well. So here is an example of Pinterest name, or not Pinterest name, and then a Pinterest description. So this is mine on Pinterest. You can see where I've used the keywords for teacher pay teacher sellers, homeschool curriculum creators, Pinterest strategy, digital products, courses, memberships, and then how to use Pinterest as a TpT seller. So those are things that I want if people are searching for me on Pinterest. That's what I want them to see. Most people who need a Pinterest strategist are not searching for them on Pinterest, but I do like to have a Pinterest account for myself so that I can test things and all of that. So when you're setting up your account, when you're optimizing your account, we're going to go through this process. You're going to first have a clear photo of yourself in that little circle. You can also use your logo. I prefer pictures of you. It just humanizes your brand a little bit more, unless that's just not how your brand is represented as much. So in the little circle, you'll have your picture of you or your logo. This is called a cover picture. You'll see it sometimes right above it, and then recently they changed it, especially on desktop, to it's beside it instead. Either way, you want to have something there that represents you. For my clients, I usually highlight some of their best resources here. If they have a membership, sometimes the graphic there will, have information about their membership. If someone lands on your Pinterest profile, what you have in that cover is like, what do you want them to know or see that you have or create? And then again, your name, you want it to have 1 or 2 keywords, and then your bio is up to 500 characters of who you are, what you do, and you want to use at least 2 to 3 keywords for your business. So that's the first part of optimizing your profile. We've done all this keyword research, and now we are taking that and putting it into your Pinterest strategy. When people are searching for this, like you can see back here, when I typed first grade, this profile showed up and this profile showed up. So when people are searching for things, they're not just going to see those keywords. Depending on what keywords you use in your name, you may show up when they're searching, and they may choose to click on your profile versus just one of these keywords. And then once you have your profile set up, so you've got your profile set up, you've done all of that back work, you need to create boards or optimize your boards. If you already have boards, what you're going to do is first, you're going to go through your boards and make sure that they make sense. Sometimes if you've been in business for a long time, what you used to create resources for, you no longer really create resources for. And so you may start there to just kind of updating those boards. If you're starting from scratch, you're going to take your main keywords and kind of break it down. So this is what this would look like if I were working with first grade resources. So that's my main topic. I create first grade resources. And these are examples of some board names that I might have if I were a first grade teacher or a first grade resource creator. I might do first grade math activities, math centers, those could be two different boards. If you create a lot of things about math, you may have multiple boards. If you do multi-grade levels, if you are in a early education or you are K through 2, you may have a first grade math, a kindergarten math, a second grade math, and that is perfectly okay. So you can see how those are broken down. And all of this is, again, stemming from your keywords that you found. Some of your, it doesn't all obviously have to have first grade in them, but you may have something, holidays around the world is a huge thing in early ed. So you may have an entire board on holidays around the world. You might have a classroom management board if you focus on classroom management, back to school. So you can also have seasonal boards. I've noticed lately that Pinterest is pushing a lot of seasonal content. So today I was doing pens for a speech therapist. And so when I typed in speech therapy, even resources into the search bar, what I saw at the top was winter speech therapy resources. I saw Valentine's Day. So I've noticed, and I've noticed this in analytics lately as well, that Pinterest is pushing holiday or seasonal content and not just Christmas content, because we always see that. Like if you have seasonal content around the holidays, we see that uptick. But I've started incorporating seasonal words into even some evergreen content of my clients that might be really good for spring. So we sprinkle in spring into that, since that's our next holiday, that's our next season that's coming up. So once you've created your boards, that's again another foundational piece, because your boards are also searchable. So sometimes, and mainly on desktop, if you search for a concept, it'll highlight a handful of boards at the top. And then again, you can search your boards over on the side of Pinterest. People can search your boards. So these names and these descriptions are important. And I don't think I went over descriptions. Your descriptions for your boards can be 500 words, and you want to include 5 to 7 keywords in there. So again, it's just telling people, what is this board about? What am I pinning here? What kind of content is this? It's like a bucket, and you're dropping everything that's related to it into that bucket. So what fits into that bucket on Pinterest? And then from there, you're ready to actually start creating pins. And I feel like this is the place that we always want to start. We want to go just to like, I want to create pins. Like, I'm ready to get on Pinterest. Like, teach me how to create pins. But the truth is, if you start here and you don't start with the back work that you have to do, your pins are not going to be seen the way that they should be, because you need those keywords and that foundation to help Pinterest know, okay, this is what this person is all about. And so when you are creating pins, you're going to have first a clear image. You're going to have a text overlay that people can read. I know I've noticed a lot lately on Pinterest, people who are just using fonts, and I have to focus on them to read them. And with people's attention spans, if you can't read the font, you need to choose a different one for Pinterest, even if it's one of your brand fonts. So try to make it very clear. And then you're going to do a 2:3 ratio. That is typically in Canva, it's the 1000 by 1500. You can also make it the reel size, so that I can't remember the ratio of that, but what you use for Instagram Reels, that's perfectly fine as well. You're not going to use square images. The only square images that are really on Pinterest are going to be your product images. So if you do connect your Shopify or your WooCommerce to Pinterest, that auto creates product pins for you. And so those will be that square like cover image from your product. And those people can click on and buy from. And then you're going to have a call to action. Buy now, download now, snag the checklist, depending on what you're using. Just what what you want them to do. So are we downloading something? Are we buying something? Like, what are we doing? Where is the text overlay? So on mine, this is the text overlay. Are you making these mistakes on Pinterest, and the TpT? So it's just the words. When I say text overlay, is just the words on the pin itself. So sorry, I clicked the wrong button. When I create a pin, this is what the pin looks like. but you're also going to have a pin description and a pin title. So when you go to pin it, you'll put in your pin description, your pin title. This is the actual overlay right here. All right, and then you want to obviously have a link to your website or your logo. I use both with my clients, so depending on the style of the pin, you will do one or the other. What do you mean by clear image? Oh, I'm sorry, like just something that you can see well. So by like a clear, easy to see. Not when if you have grainy product photography and that kind of thing, just something you don't want to use that if at all possible. Alrighty. Any more questions about creating pins? Not off right hand. Alrighty. And then analytics. Analytics can be very confusing. The first things that we want to look at, we usually see are like the monthly views on Pinterest. And like if you click on somebody's Pinterest profile, you'll see their monthly views. That is similar to impressions. Impressions are literally the number of times that you're on someone's screen. It does not mean that somebody actually does anything with that pin. If I open up Pinterest and I see a pin, that counts as an impression for that person. Doesn't mean I looked at it. It doesn't mean I clicked on it. It means zero, except for you showed up on my screen today. That's important though, because if your impressions are going down, or if you have really low impressions, then it's time to go back to your keywords because you're not getting in front of the people that you want to. Now, if you have a very narrow niche, because I have worked with people who are like very specific businesses, obviously you're not going to have as large of an audience on Pinterest as someone else. Kindergarten teachers have huge audiences on Pinterest. But people who maybe have a smaller niche, maybe not have as much. But impressions mean the number of people who are seeing it. And that is a direct correlation to that foundational work of keywords. If I see impressions that are stalling or impressions that are dipping, first I'm going to think about, okay, what's the season? Pinterest, just like TpT, is a little bit seasonal. We have our months that are a lot higher. Your back to school months are always going to be your highest month. Christmas Day is typically everyone's lowest day of the entire year. I always like to find Christmas Day on my analytics because it's really easy to see, like it's the lowest dip. So just like your TpT store, the first thing you would look at is this my off season? Is this my time where like my TpT sales drop? And then from there, if it's like, okay, we've been doing this for months and we're not seeing results and our impressions aren't going up, then you're going to go back to those keywords and you're going to address, like, do we need to change some things up? The other two that I really like to look at are outbound clicks and saves. Outbound clicks are the people who leave Pinterest and they go to your website, they go to your store, they go to your lead magnets, wherever you are sending them. Congratulations, you have done what we want them to do on Pinterest. We want them to get off Pinterest and we want them to go to where you are so that you can sell to them. So that is the one that I like to look at the most as far as, okay, like, are people actually leaving Pinterest? Are they finding me? But saves are also important. Pinterest, I start working on pins for my clients 3 months in advance, meaning right now, even though it's February, we're promoting spring content. In the next month or two, we'll start end of the year content. And so if somebody sees that pin today for Easter, they may not be in that mindset yet, but they may save it and say, okay, I want to come back to this later. So that's an important metric because we do want people saving it. We want to meet people where they are in their journey. And some people are in that like planning mode. Pinterest is a planning platform. And so some people are there and then some people are taking action. And that's what those two show. Your total audience and engaged audience. Your total audience is, honestly, I can't remember the definition of that, but engaged audience is like a combination of your clicks and your saves. On this screenshot of analytics, it doesn't show pin clicks, but when you look in your analytics, you can see pin clicks. I do report that to my clients as well, just because sometimes I like to compare pin clicks to outbound clicks. Pin clicks are how many people were like, oh, I like this. Let me look a little closer at it. And so if we see that we have a ton of pin clicks and our outbound clicks are kind of low, we want to look back at our images and see, okay, why are people getting a closer look at this, but they're not actually leaving Pinterest and going somewhere else? So the main metrics here, all clicks are, I'm not sure I understand that one, Robert. All clicks and outbound clicks. I think you're gonna have to clarify that one. On this screenshot, this is the clicks here are gonna be outbound clicks, meaning people left. Pin clicks are like if I saw a little image of this on Pinterest and I clicked on it and made it bigger so that I could see it a little bit bigger. That would be pin clicks. And those are the two different ones. All right, so again, my main ones that I look at are impressions, outbound clicks, and saves, because that gives me the most information about what my Pinterest strategy is doing. All right, so we are going to put it all together. The first thing that you need to do if you want to get started on Pinterest, and if you're already on Pinterest, you still need to do these things. You're just not starting from scratch, and that's okay too. In fact, it's nice to not have to start completely from scratch. So you're going to either set up or you're going to optimize your Pinterest account. You're going to go through that process of updating your image, your profile image, your cover image. You're going to update your name, your bio. You're going to update all of your boards. And then you're going to, this is what I do with my clients. This is my strategy for simplifying Pinterest. You're going to choose 6 to 10 URLs that you want to pin to Pinterest every month. That's going to be your products, your blogs. If you do podcasts, lead magnets, YouTube videos, whatever it is that you want to promote on Pinterest, you're going to just choose 6 to 10 of those each month. Then you're going to write, this is my process. Then I write all of my pin descriptions. So I'm going to use my keywords and I'm going to write my pin descriptions. And then I'm going to create my images. I find it's much easier to create my images when I have more information. If I already have the title done and I already have the description done, creating the images is a lot quicker. So I'm going to take those 6 to 10 URLs and I'm going to create 3 to 5 pins for each of them. And that's going to give me a total of 30 pins for the month. So I'm going to take and I'm going to schedule each one of those pins on the 1st through the 30th. And you have one brand new pin for every single month or every single day of the month. You can use, I use Tailwind to schedule. I find Tailwind to be much easier. You can repin on Tailwind. I know that some people will tell you never to repin on Pinterest. I repin my clients' pins and we see success on Pinterest. So different people have different thoughts on that. But I like to use Tailwind because I can pin the same image to multiple boards. I do that in intervals, so it's not like one day after another, but you're going to schedule those out. And then you're going to check your analytics once a month. I know it's really tempting. And maybe when you're first starting out, like weekly, just to kind of know, like, okay, I'm doing something. But if you check your analytics every single day, you're just going to drive yourself crazy because everything changes and it can change so quickly. So I look at analytics once a month and then I can look at the strategy and see what needs to change. So this is, again, my process. I choose those URLs. And 6 to 10 is plenty. If you do 6, you're going to create 5 pins for each. If you choose 10, you would create 3 and any combination in there so that you have a total of 30 pins so that you have one new pin to put out every day of the month. And then to wrap us up, if you looked at this and you're like, I like Pinterest, I want to be on Pinterest, but you're like, I need help with this, here are some ways that I can help you. I do monthly management for my clients. So if you're like, I want to hand off Pinterest to someone else and I want it to work and I never want to touch it again, I offer monthly management. I also offer Pinterest ads management. And then I have done with you strategy or done with you services. So I have a strategy call. That's where we build that strategy for you. Like, what are we pinning? When are we pinning? All of those things. I have a VIP week where I set up your account for you or I optimize your account for you. And then I give you the strategy to go with it. And then I also have a coaching call, which is just ask me anything. You can ask me anything that you want about Pinterest, and I will answer your questions in that allotted time. And then I also have a free content planning guide that you can download. I put a QR code here, but I think it's also, Chris has that as well. But it just tells you what we are creating pins for each month of the year. Because, like I said, in January, we're not doing winter content. We're not doing Black History Month. We're not doing Valentine's Day right now. We did that a couple of months ago. So it tells you what you need to be penning each month of the year, or each month of the year, so that you can stay ahead of the trends on Pinterest.